How's it going, Internet? This is Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, bringing you another Transformers third-party review. Today, our review is brought to you by titanonetoys. titanonetoys is a really great store. I have been nothing but impressed with them. They're the best, like the very best. Today, we are going to be reviewing. Well, shit. Alright, it's not a perfect solution, but it should work out. So here is the FansToys Terminus Giganticus, and it is definitely Giganticus. Like super Giganticus. Like this sucker is like, it's a good solid like 2.5 feet from end to end, and like it's like 1.5 feet wide. Like, this isn't really going to fit on your shelf. This is more going to fit on like your dresser or a desk or a tabletop. And I don't know where you're going to store it in this mode. Like, I think that anybody who's getting this figure is definitely getting it for the robot mode, and not necessarily for the vehicle mode. I mean alternate mode, because only this part's the vehicle. I guess maybe technically this part. But in terms of play features, you can kind of roll the tank around a little bit. It's got rolling tracks. These are the actual like rolling wheels right here. And these will move, but they don't. They're just there for show. They are made out of rubber, which means they probably are going to crack sometime in the future. I don't know. I've never been a big fan of rubber. It's not motorized. As a buddy of mine is saying, this ain't your daddy's Omega Supreme. No, daddy's Omega Supreme ran itself. This one won't do that. But you know, it will roll around. You can position it anywhere on the track. It's a thing. Full disclosure, I've never really been a big fan of Omega Supreme. I always thought he was kind of a silly 80s robot. And I will say that this figure is a good iteration of the design, but I think that most of the flaws with it are because he's a silly 80s robot, not because of anything that FansToys did. I think that they did a pretty good job with what they've got. In terms of any other action features, the track has a little bit of a raised section, but it doesn't really hold the tank on. Like, when you're rolling the tank around, you got to keep it on the track yourself. It's not going to stay on. It's got the rocket ship part has got one little play feature, which is you can open up this ramp here. Come on, open. This one, right? Maybe it's this one. I'm stupid. They look the same from the outside. Ow, my foot! Jeez! Son of a gun! This is one of the things that I've said about this toy. This toy is what's known as a Chihuahua killer. If it's sitting on your desktop and it falls off and it hits something, like what you can kiss whatever's below it goodbye. If it's the dog, your kid, your wife, it's all over, man. It's all ogre. But yeah, he's got this like completely like Jules Verne style rocket ship ramp. And he turns into a Jules Verne style rocket ship, and it's kind of silly. Like, really silly. And if you watch Mission to Cybertron, like, you got the base mode and the tank and the like structure in the middle and the rocket, right? And then the rocket takes off to Cybertron, and then when it gets there, it transforms into Omega Supreme, like the complete Omega Supreme, not just the rocket arm part, the complete one. I don't know how that works. It's science, physics, I don't even know. In here you've got all the other parts that don't make a rocket ship a ramp or a tank. They just like cobble them all together and say, look, It's an alt mode. Like, it just feels really cobbled together. It feels really kind of just, I know it's not FansToys' problem. Like, they're not the ones who half-assed it, but it does feel kind of half-assed. Like, they're staying true to the half-assed design, is I guess what I'm saying. So, I mean, it's a really good iteration of Omega Supreme. It'll be fun to like take it down and play with it. I know that the guy, titanonetoys that I'm borrowing it from, like, he plays with this with his 3-year-old like all the freaking time. In fact, I'm sure his kid is like crying himself to sleep all this week because I've got the toy instead of him. But you know, so you can take it down, you can turn it into base mode, you can play with it, but I mean, you're not going to store it in this mode. It's just way too big. It takes up too much square inches. So, all right, let's get into transformation. As anybody who knows anything about Omega Supreme knows, this guy is, of course, like the very definition of parts forming. So I'm just going to get into things. Might as well start with the arms. Let me get my lamps. This is just, because the figure's so huge, it is making kind of a logistical nightmare. But to start this off, we're going to crack this open here, pull out this upper arm, and I want to take this and push that up. Close that. These little 4 segments will open and allow this to extend, and then they kind of go back in. They don't clip in this mode. They just kind of sit there. There is an LED feature, which if you twist this and pull this off, there's the LED. There's a little switch. There's a way to get to the battery, but I haven't put any batteries in this. I'm not even sure exactly what batteries it takes, and it makes, there's a light in there. If you can imagine there being a light, then that's what it looks like. For this mode, for this one, it does exactly the same thing. Open that up, pull that out, flip that up, and again, there's a light up feature in there somewhere, and that lights up if you got the batteries and if you feel so inclined. As you know, activating, there's four different light up functions in this toy that take four different sets of batteries. This one's going to be the next section we're going to do. This is going to form the main torso of the figure. We're going to start by taking these side panels, collapsing them up, and then this section here opens. This comes out, flips around, and tucks back in. Again here, out, around, in. Then this section here comes untabbed, and it's on this double joint armature, and it sits right in there. Same with the other side. And now we're going to take this and fold this up. If you pull up this here, you can flip that around to reveal his face. His face sculpt is actually really good. Like, it really, you know, because it's a much larger figure than you know, your average Transformer figure, you can put a lot more care into the facial design. They really did. I like especially, so he's got this switch here, which I don't have the batteries installed, but that switch there lights up his eyes. His eyes are also painted this like really nice metallic blue. And so they're painted and they're translucent. It lights it up from behind, and it looks pretty good from the pictures I've seen. Again, I haven't actually put them in here. We're gonna take these tracks, pull them out. these yellow panels go around here and pretend to cover that space up. If we take this and turn it, that'll pop right off. By the way, there is, for some unfathomable reason, you can take the MP10 matrix, and there's another light up gimmick in here that lights this up, and you can put the MP10 matrix in there, even though that was not something that the character ever did. That was not a design feature of the original toy. I don't understand at all why it does that, but hey, it's something you can do if you've got, you know, if you're bored. Take this whole thing, twist it around, then these will click in like so. This will fit in like so. This will go down like that, and this part alrighty. There is part of him. Oh, one more thing that'll collapse in. This section of the wings is really super simple. Just pull it off, fold it in half. There's that done. Pull it off, fold it in half. This section here, I just lost my backdrop. I'll fix it later. So these are the shoulders here, and they will rotate all the way around and then come out. So this one here, all the way around and come out. The ratchets on this are super, super, super like tight and super loud. You can even see, like, these are the ratcheting parts in here, and this is just super, like, that'll wake the dead right there. Oh, and these parts go in. All right. Next, we're gonna get the feet ready to go. We're gonna turn this so it faces the toe. This part folds in. These parts here will fold out. Then the heel comes out from here. There's one. This is the right foot. And there's, fold that up, fold these out. All right. Now comes the hard part of this whole transformation, because these thighs are a little bit of a pain in the butt. I think I've got them figured out. I've practiced a few times. So we're going to open up this panel here. We're going to start getting all of this folded out. And then this part basically comes up here, and if you can rotate it right here like that, then it'll tuck through. Otherwise, I mean, that's the trick to getting them through, is you just rotate it so that it turns on, pivots on this point here, then it'll work. Then let me see. This is the front of the leg. This is the back of the thigh, so this is going to turn. Let's get this situated. This is the part of the transformation that is a complete pain in the ass. Just like this piece right here. And it's pretty much everything about it. There we go. All right, that's one half. Now I have to do it 3 more times. Flip that, tucks into there. Is that how this wants to go? Pull this little piece out. This helps keep the 2 halves together. Nope, that's not how it went. Dang it. I miscalculated. There we go. All right. Then we're going to take, this is this thigh. Oh, no, it's this one. There we go. Remember, if I hold it the right way. So there's these features inside here, and they're on both sides of this, and they're gonna fit right into the slot right here. Again, I want to apologize, guys, because I'm not able to use a tripod. Like, this is all going to be like shaky cam, super close up. Like, we're filming this Michael Bay style. All right, that's a leg done. Thank heaven. I was trying to do it again. I'm trying to keep my overall review of this a bit short, because I know that the transformation is going to be a pain in the ass and take a long time, and I don't want to turn this into like a 2-hour long review. Oh, that just all went together smoothly. Nice. There we go. And then this is going to tuck through. It's this side here because it's got, like, this is the back of the knee right here. This curve, and that curve makes this little edge right here, which makes it, this is more of a pain in the ass than the other side. Even though they are both, don't get me wrong, a pain in the ass. All right, then that goes towards the back. Ish. That closes up. I'll do this part. All right. Don't fold up. There we go. You kind of got to like tab everything in, and there's a metal strut that keeps this yellow piece on that has to go through a keyhole in the 2 gray halves, and you have to do all of this blind because this yellow piece gets in the way of seeing anything, but it's like, I don't know, it has to be that way. I guess on the DX9 Gabriel, they're doing it so that this piece here actually like splits into two halves. So I don't know exactly what all they're doing. Anyhow, next step is these parts. These parts are going to fold out. And then these big square pegs go through the square holes. Come on. There we go. He stands. All right, next up is the shoulder section. Now the shoulders have these movie parts here. These tabs here are going to peg into these holes here. I need to get this up. My now overly huge backdrop. No. I was thinking about displaying this against like a couch or something, but then I'd have to be like sitting down on my feet the whole time, and then I knew they would fall asleep and I would regret every single moment of it. All right. So we're gonna stick these, they go in, son of a, they go in here, and then the backpack tabs in on the back. Oh, fuck it, I'm not gonna care about it. Whatever. There's two big tabs here, and there's two little slots in here. And then the wings will fold in, they'll tab in. Tab into those little slots right there. Now, one of the things that a lot of people said about this figure is that he's back heavy, and yeah, he is back heavy. I mean, because he's got the whole like backpack and the wings and stuff. But one thing that I really want to point out is that once you put his arms on, his arms actually counterbalance the wings really, really well. All right, one last attempt to get this sucker to stand. Stupid backdrop. It's too big. It's too big and too cumbersome. Can't wait to review normal sized figures again. All right, let me change my lights again because now he's like huge. All right, and here is the Omega Supreme Terminus Giganticus in his Giganticus robot mode. And I mean, again, in this mode, he looks really, really true to his G1 iteration. You know, he's got a good face sculpt. He's got like all of the details, all of the proportions, all of the everything. It looks great. I mean, it's a good masterpiece scale figure. I think he, you know, I mean, definitely he's going to be masterpiece scale in this mode. The other mode is not masterpiece scale. It is really small. But hey, what is that? Mass shifting, you know, conservation of mass for the win. In terms of posability, he's got, his head is super clicky. Will go all around. His arms will go all the way around, are hindered only by those wings. His arms go out. All the way. He's got an upper bicep rotation. Yeah, geez, that's heavy. His elbow joint bends about 90 degrees. It's kind of cool here that like this part just like kind of sucks away, so that he can bend that fully. His legs. This is a point of. Let me get into the other arm, because the other arm also has these fingers, which are all posable. Which is kind of a shame, because what's the point of having posable fingers if you can't fly the bird? Like, seriously. His leg posability is as follows. Kind of an interesting thing, because so he'll move that far forwards. Come on. All the way back. In terms of spread, his legs are already about as wide as they will go. They'll go a little bit further. His knees will move that much. And the toe has no forwards and backwards, but will move that much. That guy weighs like 15 pounds. He is kind of back heavy. He is, by the way, standing with his legs completely straight. Some people think that you really can't do that. But I mean, if you position everything towards the back, then he'll fall over. I mean, anything will fall over, but for most stability, if you put his legs out a little bit. And I mean, it's not even just for stability. It is simply a cooler looking pose. So basically, the rule I've seen from, who was it, Sun, who put out the video of, oh, if you turn his legs straight, he falls over. The lesson learned from that is, if your Omega Supreme looks stupid when he's standing, then he'll fall over. Good to know. Why don't you have him not be looking stupid? You paid $300 for it. Don't make it look dumb. But yeah, he's big and he's huge. Anybody who buys this is definitely going to be like a centerpiece of your display. But you know, if you need an Omega Supreme in your life, like this would definitely be the way to go. As for me personally, he's too big. He's not very playable because he's just freaking huge. It's a workout to try to wrestle him around into a pose. It's not like you're going to be putting him in any dynamic poses, because of course the more dynamic your pose, the greater risk you have of him falling over. And if this guy falls over, he's going to break your display, he's going to break your figures, he's going to break your floor, he's going to break himself, and he's going to break any person or pet that happens to be underneath him when he falls. And I mean, this is definitely not for me. But I do think that it is for a lot of people. FansToys did a fantastic job on this figure. The paint apps are all super crisp, super sharp looking. They look really great. the figure itself is like spot on, just absolutely dead on with how he looks in the G1 show. And if you're trying to complete your masterpiece figures, like, third party is, by the way, going to be the only way to go. There's no way that Hasbro or Takara is going to release a masterpiece scale Omega Supreme. It's never going to happen. So only third party is going to be audacious enough to make it happen. So you're going to have to go with one of these guys eventually. This guy's out now. He comes in two parts. One part is the torso, and the backpack, and the wings. The other part is the arms, the legs, and the feet. So you do have to buy two sets to complete him, which I think the way they did it that way is because A, he'd make for a bigger, more expensive, less shippable box if they did it all in one go, and B, kind of breaks up the amount that you're paying for him all at once. Buying two cheaper sets instead of one super expensive set. But yeah, if you need Omega Supreme in your life, I mean, I definitely recommend it. If you're on the fence about it, I would say no. But I think that pretty much wraps up my review. Everybody, thanks for putting up with this review. My next one's going to have a tripod again. It's going to be great. And I will see you next time. Everybody be good to each other.